Once a family of 4 embarked on an exciting adventure to a serene island. The family included Mom, Dad, Sarah, and Jake. Each one of them was bubbling with anticipation for the vacation ahead. But unbeknownst to them, this journey would soon unfold into an unexpected and thrilling tale. As they boarded the ferry that would take them to the island, Sarah couldn't contain her excitement. "I can't wait to build sandcastles on the beach," she exclaimed, her eyes gleaming with delight. Dad chuckled, ruffling Jake's hair. "And I can't wait to go snorkeling and see all the colorful fish," he said, his voice brimming with enthusiasm. The ferry ride was smooth, with seagulls soaring overhead and the salty breeze tousling their hair. Mom gazed out at the endless expanse of the ocean, a sense of tranquility washing over her. "This is going to be the perfect getaway," she sighed contentedly. But just as they approached the island, dark clouds loomed on the horizon, casting a shadow over their excitement. The once clear sky turned ominous, and thunder rumbled in the distance. Sarah's face fell, and she clutched Dad's hand nervously. "I hope it's not going to rain," she murmured, a hint of worry in her voice. Jake peered up at the sky, his brow furrowed in concern. "Maybe it's just a passing storm," he offered optimistically, though uncertainty lingered in his tone. As the ferry docked on the island, the first drops of rain began to fall, pattering against the deck with a gentle rhythm. Mom hurriedly gathered their belongings, her expression a mix of determination and apprehension. "Let's find shelter before it starts pouring," she urged, leading the way off the ferry. They hurried along the winding paths of the island, the rain steadily growing heavier with each passing minute. Sarah skipped ahead, her laughter mingling with the sound of rainfall. "I see a little hut over there," she exclaimed, pointing excitedly towards a small shelter nestled among the trees. Dad quickened his pace, a smile tugging at the corners of his lips. "Good eye, Sarah," he praised, relief flooding through him as they reached the safety of the hut. Inside, they huddled together, the sound of rain drumming against the roof providing a soothing backdrop to their adventure. Mom dug through their bags, producing snacks and board games to pass the time. "Looks like we'll be having an indoor picnic," she remarked, her smile unwavering despite the unexpected turn of events. As they settled in for the afternoon, the rain continued to pour outside, but inside the little hut, the family was warm and cozy. Sarah and Jake engaged in a lively game of cards, their laughter echoing through the tiny space. "This is even more fun than I imagined," Sarah exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with joy as she placed down a winning hand. Jake grinned, reaching for the deck of cards. "Yeah, who needs sunny beaches when you've got a great game and even better company?" he replied, his words laced with affection for his family. As the hours passed, the storm eventually subsided, leaving behind a fresh, dewy scent in the air. The family emerged from the hut, greeted by the sight of a vibrant rainbow stretching across the sky. "Look!" Sarah cried, her face lighting up with wonder as she pointed towards the colorful arc. "It's like the island is welcoming us back outside." Dad wrapped an arm around Mom, a sense of awe filling his heart as they took in the breathtaking sight together. "Sometimes, the best adventures happen when things don't go according to plan," he mused, his voice tinged with gratitude for the unexpected moments that brought them closer together. And so their journey continued, filled with laughter, love, and the endless possibility of new adventures waiting just around the corner. The island was a paradise, with its golden sands and gentle waves kissing the shore. Seagulls soared overhead, and the salty breeze carried whispers of adventure. Mom, Dad, Sarah, and Jake had come here for a peaceful vacation, away from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. They built sand castles, splashed in the ocean, and shared laughter under the warm sun. But one day, as they lounged on the beach, a shadow of worry crept over their faces. Dad's phone beeped urgently, breaking the serene silence. "What's that, Dad?" Sarah asked, her eyes wide with curiosity. Dad's brow furrowed as he read the message. "It's from back home. There's been some shocking news." Sarah and Jake exchanged nervous glances, their imaginations running wild with possibilities. Mom's hand found Dad's, a silent gesture of support. "What is it?" Mom's voice was steady, but her eyes betrayed her concern. Dad took a deep breath, trying to find the right words. "It's about the cholera," he began, his voice heavy with concern. "There's been a sudden outbreak back home, and it's spreading rapidly, causing widespread illness and panic. The cholera bacteria, Vibrio cholerae, is primarily transmitted through contaminated water and food, leading to severe dehydration and even death if not treated promptly. In response, authorities have enforced an immediate lockdown to contain the disease and prevent further transmission. No flights, no boats. We're stuck here." He paused, allowing the gravity of the situation to sink in. The government has set up emergency response teams, and hospitals are overwhelmed with patients. Clean water and sanitation are in high demand, but supplies are running low. They're urging people to stay indoors and avoid any unnecessary contact to curb the spread of the infection. His voice wavered slightly, revealing his worry. "We need to stay informed and be ready for any updates," he continued, trying to project a sense of calm and control. "This lockdown is unprecedented, and there's a lot of uncertainty. We have to prepare ourselves for the possibility that we might not be able to go back home for a while." A heavy silence descended upon them, the weight of the news sinking in like an anchor plunging into the depths of the sea. They were miles away from home, separated by more than just distance now. "But what about Grandma and Grandpa?" Jake asked, his voice small against the vastness of the ocean. Dad shook his head, his expression grim. "We'll have to check on them later. Right now, we need to focus on what we have here." Sarah's mind raced with thoughts of their dwindling supplies. "But Dad, what about food and water? We didn't bring enough for a long stay." Dad squeezed Mom's hand reassuringly. "We'll figure something out. We're a family, and families stick together no matter what." With renewed determination, they gathered their belongings and headed back to their makeshift home, a cozy beach house nestled among palm trees. As they walked, they discussed their options, brainstorming ideas to make the best of their unexpected situation. Inside the beach house, Mom and Dad set to work organizing their supplies while Sarah and Jake explored the rooms, searching for hidden treasures. But their hearts weren't in it. Their minds were still haunted by the uncertainty of the future. "I miss home," Sarah admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. Jake nodded, his eyes clouded with worry. "Me too. I miss my friends and my toys." Mom and Dad exchanged a knowing glance, understanding the ache in their children's hearts. They wished they could wave a magic wand and transport them back home, but they knew they had to be strong for their sake. "We'll make the best of this, I promise," Dad said, his voice infused with determination. "We'll turn this into an adventure, a family adventure." Sarah's eyes lit up with hope, a small spark amidst the darkness. "Really, Dad? An adventure?" Dad nodded, a smile playing at the corners of his lips. "Yes, really. We'll explore the island, learn new things, and make memories that will last a lifetime." Jake's face broke into a grin, his worries melting away like sandcastles in the tide. "I want to find a treasure," Mom laughed, the sound filling the room with warmth. "Well, who knows what we might discover? The island is full of surprises." With renewed enthusiasm, they huddled together, making plans for their island adventure. They would fish for their supper, gather fruits from the trees, and build a fire to roast marshmallows under the starry sky. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting hues of pink and orange across the sky, they sat together on the beach, watching the waves dance in the fading light. Though they were far from home and faced with challenges ahead, they knew that as long as they had each other, they could weather any storm that came their way. And so, with hearts full of hope and hands joined in solidarity, they embraced the unknown, ready to write the next chapter of their family adventure. "We're in quite a pickle," Dad sighed, running a hand through his hair as he stared out at the shimmering sea, its waves whispering secrets to the wind. Mom leaned against him, her brow furrowed in concern. "It's like a plot twist in one of those adventure books you kids love so much." Sarah and Jake exchanged anxious glances, their young minds swirling with questions and worries. "But what about home?" Jake's voice quivered, mirroring the uncertainty in his sister's eyes. Mom squeezed them both in a reassuring embrace. "Home is wherever we are, my darlings. And right now, we're together on this beautiful island." Dad nodded, his eyes reflecting determination. "We may be stranded, but we're not helpless. We'll figure this out just like we always do." Sarah nibbled her lip, the weight of their situation pressing down on her shoulders like a heavy burden. "But what about food and supplies? We didn't exactly pack for an extended stay." "That's where teamwork comes in," Dad replied, a spark of excitement igniting in his eyes. "We'll gather what we can from the island. Fish from the sea, fruits from the trees. We'll live off the land until help arrives." Jake's face brightened at the prospect of adventure. "Like explorers." "Exactly," Dad chuckled, ruffling Jake's hair. "We'll be modern-day explorers, charting our course through this unexpected journey." Mom joined in with a smile, her warmth enveloping them like a cozy blanket. "And who knows? We might discover hidden treasures along the way." As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, the family huddled together, their hearts filled with hope and resolve. In the face of adversity, they found strength in each other, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. "We're like castaways," Sarah remarked one evening, her gaze fixed on the flickering flames of their campfire. "But with better company," Dad added, giving Mom a playful wink. Jake nodded enthusiastically, his face smeared with a mixture of sand and chocolate from their impromptu beach picnic. "Yeah, and no volleyball named Wilson." They laughed, the sound echoing across the beach as if to defy the solitude of their island sanctuary. But amidst the laughter, there lingered a quiet longing, a yearning for the familiar comforts of home, for the sound of bustling streets and the scent of freshly baked cookies. "We can't stay here forever," Mom said softly one night, her eyes reflecting the starlit sky above. Dad sighed, his gaze fixed on the distant horizon where the sea met the sky. "I know, but we'll find a way back. Together." And so, fueled by determination and a dash of island magic, the family set out to turn their makeshift paradise into a beacon of hope. A reminder that even in the face of uncertainty, love would always light the way home. As they worked tirelessly to fortify their shelter and gather supplies, they stumbled upon unexpected treasures. Seashells as delicate as whispers, driftwood shaped by the hands of time, and most precious of all, moments shared under the vast canopy of stars. "We may be stranded," Dad said one evening, his voice tinged with melancholy, "but we're not alone." Sarah squeezed his hand, her eyes shining with unshed tears. "We have each other." And in that simple gesture, they found solace, a beacon of hope amidst the vast expanse of the unknown. As they settled into their routine, they discovered more about the island. Dad explored the shoreline, finding clams and crabs hiding in the sand. "Check it out, guys," Dad called excitedly. "Fresh seafood for dinner tonight?" Jake's eyes widened. "Can we have a bonfire, Dad?" Mom nodded, her eyes twinkling. "It sounds like a wonderful idea. We can roast the clams and tell stories under the stars." The thought of a bonfire made Sarah grin. "I'll collect some firewood." With everyone pitching in, they soon had a crackling fire going. Dad skewered the clams on sticks, expertly roasting them over the flames. "These look delicious," Mom commented, handing out plates. They sat around the fire, enjoying their meal. Jake leaned back, gazing up at the sky. "I wish we could stay here forever." Mom ruffled his hair affectionately. "Maybe not forever, but we'll make the most of our time here." One day, while exploring the interior of the island, they stumbled upon a hidden waterfall. Sarah's eyes widened in wonder. "It's like something out of a fairy tale." Dad nodded, marveling at the sight. Nature truly is incredible. As they stood mesmerized by the cascading water, they heard a rustling in the bushes. Out popped a curious monkey, chattering away. Jake laughed, reaching out to pet it. "Hey there, little guy." The monkey seemed to enjoy the attention, swinging from branch to branch. Mom watched with amusement. "Looks like we've made a new friend." Their days became filled with adventures, each one bringing them closer as a family. They learned to appreciate the simple joys of life, the warmth of the sun on their skin, the sound of waves crashing against the shore, the laughter shared around the fire. "What are we going to do when we run out of food?" Mom asked, her brow furrowed with concern. "We'll find a way," Dad replied, trying to sound confident, though worry lingered in his voice. Sarah and Jake, too, felt the weight of their predicament. They huddled together, brainstorming ideas to stretch their supplies. "Maybe we can go fishing," Jake suggested. "That's a good idea, Jake," Dad exclaimed, his eyes brightening with hope. "We could catch some fish to supplement our meals." So, the next morning, armed with makeshift fishing rods and a bucket, Dad, Sarah, and Jake set off towards the shore. The sun was just beginning to rise, casting a golden hue over the tranquil waters. As they walked, Sarah spotted a cluster of berry bushes near the edge of the forest. "Look, berries!" she exclaimed, pointing excitedly. Mom's face lit up with relief. "Those will be a nice addition to our meals," she said, plucking a handful of ripe berries and dropping them into her bag. As they continued towards the shore, they encountered a small stream trickling through the trees. Dad knelt down, cupping his hands to drink the cool water. "This stream could be a good source of fresh water," he observed. Sarah nodded in agreement. "We should bring some containers to collect water later," she suggested. At the shore, they found a secluded spot where the water was teeming with fish. Dad showed Sarah and Jake how to cast their lines, and soon they were reeling in fish after fish. "This is fun," Sarah exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement as she caught her first fish. Jake grinned, proud of his sister's accomplishment. "You're a natural, Sarah!" After a successful morning of fishing, they returned to their makeshift camp with a bucket full of fish and a newfound sense of hope. Mom cooked the fish over an open fire, filling the air with the mouth-watering aroma of grilled seafood. As they sat around the fire enjoying their freshly caught meal, Dad spoke up. "We need to start thinking about long-term solutions," he said, his tone serious. Mom nodded in agreement. "We can't rely solely on fishing and foraging. We need to find a way to sustain ourselves until help arrives." "I have an idea," Sarah piped up, her eyes alight with enthusiasm. "What if we build a garden? We can plant vegetables and herbs to supplement our meals." Dad's face broke into a smile. "That's a brilliant idea, Sarah. With some hard work and dedication, we can grow our own food right here on the island." And so, their quest for supplies evolved into a quest for self-sustainability. They spent their days fishing, foraging, and tending to their garden, working together as a family to overcome the challenges they faced. And though they still longed for the day when they could return home, they found solace in the simple pleasures of island life and the unbreakable bond of family that had carried them through their darkest days. "Dad! Look at this!" Sarah called, disappearing into a narrow opening in the cliffside. Dad exchanged a glance with Mom before following Sarah into the darkness. The narrow passage led them deeper into the heart of the island, the air growing cooler with each step. Suddenly, Sarah's voice rang out, filled with excitement. "Wow, you have to see this." The family emerged into a cavern bathed in soft golden light streaming through a crack in the ceiling. Stacks of crates lined the walls and shelves overflowed with supplies. "What is all this?" Mom asked, her eyes widening in disbelief. Dad examined the crates, lifting the lid of one to reveal rows of canned goods neatly stacked inside. "It looks like someone left behind a stash of supplies," he said, his voice tinged with amazement. Sarah and Jake eagerly joined in, rummaging through the shelves and uncovering bottles of water, medical supplies, and even a few blankets. "This is like a treasure trove," Sarah exclaimed, her eyes shining with excitement. As they sorted through their newfound bounty, Dad's thoughts turned to their predicament. "This could be our ticket home," he said, his voice hopeful. Mom nodded, her expression grave. "But how do we get word out? We're stranded here, remember?" Jake piped up, his eyes alight with an idea. "What if we use the radio in the boat? Maybe we can reach someone on the mainland." Dad clapped him on the back, a proud smile spreading across his face. "That's a brilliant idea, Jake." With renewed determination, the family made their way back to the beach, their arms laden with supplies. Sarah and Jake chattered excitedly, their voices mingling with the sound of waves crashing against the shore. Once they reached the boat, Dad wasted no time in firing up the radio. Static crackled to life, filling the air as he adjusted the dials, searching for a signal. Come on," Dad muttered, his brow furrowed in concentration. Suddenly, a voice broke through the static, faint but unmistakable. "Hello? Is anyone there?" Dad's heart leaped with joy as he scrambled to respond. Yes, we're here. We're stranded on an island and we need help." The voice on the other end was filled with concern. "Are you okay? Do you need medical assistance?" Dad assured them that they were fine but explained their situation. "We need to get back home. Is there any way you can help us?" There was a moment of silence before the voice spoke again, this time with a note of hope. "We'll do everything we can to get you home safely. Just sit tight and we'll send help your way." Relief flooded through Dad as he thanked the person on the other end of the line. Turning to his family, he couldn't suppress the grin that spread across his face. "We're going home, kids!" Sarah and Jake cheered, their voices ringing out across the beach as they hugged each other tight. As they waited for help to arrive, the family huddled together on the sand, watching the sun sink below the horizon. In that moment, surrounded by the ones they loved, they knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. And as the stars began to twinkle overhead, casting their gentle light upon the island, the family felt a sense of peace wash over them. For in the darkness, they had found a glimmer of hope, a beacon to guide them home. As the fire burned low and the stars twinkled overhead, the family realized something remarkable. Despite the challenges they faced, they were still able to find joy and happiness in the simplest of moments. Wrapped in the warmth of their love for one another, they drifted off to sleep with renewed hope in their hearts, knowing that together they could conquer anything that came their way. The warm glow of the flames flickered against their faces as they roasted some fish they had caught earlier in the day. Amidst the crackling of the fire, they shared stories and laughter, finding solace in each other's company. Suddenly, Sarah gasped, her eyes widening with surprise as she pointed towards the horizon. "Look, Dad, there's a boat." Dad squinted, following Sarah's gaze. Sure enough, a small vessel was approaching the island, its silhouette growing clearer against the morning sky. Excitement rippled through the family as they realized what this could mean. Could it be a rescue boat? Mom wondered aloud, her voice tinged with hope. Jake jumped up and down, unable to contain his excitement. "I think it is! We're finally going home!" As the boat drew nearer, the family hurriedly extinguished their campfire and waved frantically, hoping to catch the attention of whoever was on board. Moments later, the boat came to a gentle stop on the shore, and a group of friendly-looking sailors stepped onto the sand. "Are you the ones who lit the signal fire?" one of the sailors asked, his voice warm and welcoming. Dad nodded eagerly. "Yes, that's us. We've been stranded here for weeks." The sailors exchanged glances before the one who had spoken stepped forward with a smile. "Well, you're in luck. We've been scouring the islands in search of survivors, and it looks like we found you just in time." Relief flooded through the family as they realized they were finally being rescued. They quickly gathered their few belongings and followed the sailors onto the boat, their hearts brimming with gratitude. As the boat set sail towards the horizon, Mom couldn't help but feel a pang of sadness at leaving the island behind. "I'll miss the tranquility of this place," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "But I won't miss the coconut crabs," Jake chimed in with a shudder, causing everyone to laugh. Sarah gazed wistfully at the receding shore, her mind filled with memories of their time on the island. "It was like our own little adventure," she mused, a hint of nostalgia in her voice. Dad placed a comforting hand on her shoulder, his eyes shining with pride. "And we faced it together, as a family." As they sailed onwards towards home, the family shared their stories with the sailors, recounting their days spent exploring the island and the challenges they had overcome. The sailors listened intently, their expressions reflecting both awe and admiration. "You folks are real survivors," one of the sailors remarked, a note of admiration in his voice. "We had to be," Mom replied with a smile. "When you're faced with adversity, you find strength you never knew you had." As the sun began to sink towards the horizon, casting a golden glow over the ocean, the family gathered at the bow of the boat, watching as the island faded from view. In that moment, they knew they would never forget the lessons they had learned or the bond they had shared. "We'll always carry a piece of the island with us," Dad said softly, his words echoing the sentiment of the family. "And we'll always carry each other," Sarah added, reaching out to squeeze her brother's hand. With that, they turned their faces towards the future, ready to embrace whatever adventures lay ahead. For as long as they lived, the memory of their time on the island would serve as a reminder of the power of resilience, unity, and the enduring strength of family.